We're going to be a winner on June 30th with the A-Plus Classic coming to town in the Spokane Arena as NBA star Jamal Crawford will be bringing some of his NBA pals to Spokane for, I'm going to dare to say, the best game of Hoopfest all weekend. I know there'll be a lot of games, but to me it'll be the best game of Hoopfest, and Jamal joins us on the phone. Jamal, thanks for being here. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me again. I appreciate it.
We anytime we can get an NBA star to come on our program, you know, if you want to co-host this program, you can come in if you want.
Well, you guys have my number, so whenever you need me, I'm here. Anytime.
All right. Oh, boy, there's an inexperienced guy. You haven't listened to our show very often. We'll be calling you daily.
There you go.
Hey, pretty big game last night. Did you get a chance to sit down and watch it on Father's Day?
Yeah, I did. That was a huge game. I think, you know, it's so much pressure now on OKC to get this next game because teams that go down 3-1 don't care. They very rarely come back, you know, so this next game will be like a seventh game for them. It's a desperation game for sure, and it's a good series. I mean, each game is going down to the wire. You know, no blowouts. Pretty much can go either way, and I think fans really appreciate that.
Jamal, for a guy who plays 82 games a year, plus if you get into the playoffs more and there's preseason games, once your season ends, do you really pay attention to the NBA, or do you just kind of, I've had enough of that this year, I want to take some time off?
I think it's a little bit of both. When you have a long season like that, you definitely want to take time off as far as actually getting out there, working out, getting back on the court, but you still pay attention. You know, we're all kids at heart. We've been doing this our whole lives, so you always know what's going on, especially in today's age with so much internet and Twitter and Facebook. You still want to stay in tune on what's going on in the basketball world, so guys definitely are watching and, you know, and paying attention to what's going on.
Does it crack you up a little bit, somebody that knows the game so well, that when a team loses one game in the NBA Finals, all the media wants them to change their starting lineup, and this guy shouldn't be playing?
Hilarious. It's hilarious. Yeah, I sit back and laugh at it, you know, because the game before, that was the greatest thing since sliced bread. But now when, you know, things, you hit a bump in the road or it's a loss or something like that, they want to change everything, you know. So I think each coach knows their players more than anybody else does on the outside looking in, and those guys have a good grip and a good feel on their team, you know. So it's funny to me, yeah, definitely to hear it from that perspective, though.
Jamal, how hard is it to win on the road in the NBA playoffs against a very good team?
It's tough. It's tough. It's almost as hard as anything else out there, you know, because, you know, that's why home court is so important. You know, people want home court because it may come down to the seventh game that happens to be on the home court. You know, it may be 3-3, and both teams just hold serve. So whenever you can still win on the road, that's huge, you know, and Miami went and did that, and with this new format, or the format they're using, 2-3-2, they could end it in Miami, you know, if they look at it like that. So I think each game is going to be really good. Has two of the top superstars out there going head-to-head, so it's really great for the game of basketball right now.
Jamal Crawford joining us here on Patch and Lukens, and also he's bringing the A-Plus Classic to Spokane on Hoopfest weekend. Jamal and the NBA stars will be putting on a show, and you can get your tickets at ticketswest.com, and you'll be helping a great charity here in the Northwest, A-Plus, and you can go to their website. And Jamal, give me that's aplusyouthprogram.org. Is that correct?
Yes, .org.
Yeah,
.org.
Yeah, program singular, not programs. .org.
All right, so Jamal, LeBron James has kind of taken over a little bit. What do the Spurs have to do to slow him down? Or the Spurs.
The Spurs can't do
Spurs
anything.
never got their shot at him. What are the thoughts? I have the right state anyway.
Yeah, you did.
What do they have to do to slow him down, or should they worry about slowing him down?
The thing I think that most teams know about when you play against the Miami Heat is that LeBron James, you know, whether he's on fire or whether he's not on fire, he's pretty much 30 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. So I think you have to key in on guys like Battier a little bit more. You know, I think those guys make the plays that when LeBron or Wade are double team and they kick it out, they hit the timely three-point basket or the backbreaker three-point basket. You know, and I think those are things you kind of have to control a little bit. With LeBron, you know he's going to get his, but if you can kind of control everybody else a little bit, I mean, hey, it takes, 80, 90, 100 points to win a game, and nobody's done that besides Wilt Chamberlain and Kobe, and scoring 80, 100 points. So you have to key on everybody else. We know LeBron's going to get his, D-Wade's going to get his, but if you can control the other guys a little bit more, I think they have a better shot at winning.
Have you been a little bit surprised? I mean, we all expected Cephalosha and Durant to guard LeBron, but at the end of games, it seems to be Harden that's getting that duty. Are you a little bit surprised by that?
A little bit, but I think what Coach Brooks is thinking about on that is using Harden's quickness with his feet and kind of pressuring LeBron a little bit and then forcing him to where Harden's help is, and that way he wants to get up on him so he can't shoot it, and then know that Ibaka and Perkins and all those guys are back there to help him. So, yeah, at that stage of the game, they're definitely playing chess, that's for sure.
Hey, Jamal, we see LeBron on television. You've been standing next to him and played against him. How big is he?
It's not even real, honestly. And it's weird for me because I knew him when he was in high school, and to see how far he's come to this point, and it seems like he's gotten bigger and bigger as far as growing his game and everything else. But it's unreal. You see him stand next to guys like LaMarcus Aldridge or Al Horford, and he's bigger than those guys. Those guys are power forwards. So it's pretty unreal. It's a sight to see. It's almost like when I first came to the league, I used to look at Shaq, and Shaq was just so much bigger than everybody else. It didn't even look real. And LeBron has that, but he's a perimeter guy. He has the same effect on you.
I wonder if you felt the same. You say you knew him in high school. Did you play in some of the All-Star games with him?
Well, yeah, I was a little bit older, but when I was training in Chicago, when I was playing for the Bulls, he would come up, and we both would train with Jordan. And, yeah, he was still younger then. He still had a nice size, but he was the same height, but his body just really developed and filled out. And it's been unreal to watch this growth. Even
then, he was kind of a man amongst boys when he was in high school, and he's just pretty much been able to transfer that to the level he's at now.
Yeah, he has. And if you think about it, I remember reading one of the Sports Illustrated articles on him before he was drafted. And one GM, I think it was a random GM, said he's one of the top 5 players in the league. He would be one of the top 5 players in the league right now, and he was still in high school. And I was like, come on. I'm in the league at that time. I'm like, come on. There's no way. This guy's like this person, T-Mac, and I'm running off names and stuff like that. And all the expectations he had on him, he surpassed them. With the exception of, winning the championship. But early, all the expectations, getting the $90 million from Nike to start before he played an NBA game, all that stuff, he surpassed all that, and now he just has one thing left to kind of conquer, and he's 2 games away from it.
Everybody, Jamal, wants to be the best player in the NBA, or that wouldn't drive players the way it does. But are you kind of glad sometimes when you see the criticism that this guy's put under 24 hours a day that you're not LeBron James sometimes?
There's no way I can function. It's been everything he's had to deal with, and from his headband, he's losing hair to it's been everything. And if he ties his shoe wrong, it's LeBron. It's something's going on there. And it's I couldn't imagine that, honestly, to be that big everywhere you go. LeBron, you can't do anything right. You do everything great. Whatever it is, it's under a microscope, and I enjoy being able to walk around freely, walk to the store and stuff. That's stuff that sometimes you could take for granted. And I know him; he would give anything. I was watching the Dream Team special the other day, and Karl Malone talked about how Stockton got off the bus in the middle of Barcelona and just walked down the middle of the sidewalk with his family. And Karl Malone said, "I would give anything to do that." He was walking on the bus, and LeBron is a whole other phenomenon. So. Yeah, I don't want to trade places with him at all.
I want to go back to Game 2 real quick, and this one just occurred to me because this was a source of discussion for me. A lot of people asking me about this, in my opinion. I want to get your opinion on it. End of Game 2, after the Thunder had made their comeback, and they pulled within 2, and they had possession. They go to Durant down on the baseline, and he did one of his little patented followaways and missed the shot. But, what a lot of people say from the replay, and I agree, was LeBron hacked him pretty good. He hacked him in the ribs, and he got him on the leg. Now, I didn't have a problem with no whistle because that tends to happen toward the end of NBA games. I'd like your thought on that, or do you think that maybe there was no whistle because it was LeBron James? What were your thoughts on that play?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it was no whistle for the simple fact that in NBA games, especially at that level, as each round it gets more difficult. And my friend, one of my best friends, Will Conroy, my first year in the playoffs, he tried to tell me, he said, Jamal, you got to understand, every possession in the playoffs is like 14 game point, and you're going to 15 in the summer. It's that intense every single possession. And that was just the first round of the playoffs. They're in the finals, and towards the end of games, it won't be easy to get those kind of calls. And Durant, being the pro that he is, said, you know what? He didn't complain about it. He's like, I got to watch the tape and get better. So I think that possession, stuff like that can happen either way.
We had a topic of conversation today. We had our Arena Football League coach went off on referees and postgame and the media on Saturday, and I know that that's a topic that goes around professional sports. Nobody's ever happy 100% with the referees, but it's something that generally you don't comment on. Is that difficult sometimes for you to maybe bite your tongue when you'd like to say something, and then maybe if your coach went off, is that one of those things where you pat him on the back and say, hey, thanks for doing that?
Yeah, it's difficult. It's a difficult position to be in. But then at the end of the day, it's like, is the risk worth the reward? Because at that point, like you said, the game's over with. It was over with an hour ago. You can't go back and replay the call or change the call. So it's just basically blowing off steam. And some people handle it better than others, but it's always a pretty peculiar position to be in.
Well, we don't want to take any money out of Jamal Crawford's wallet.
No way.
We don't want to do that. We're trying to put some cash into the A-plus people's coffers. And Jamal, one more time, tell us about the event that's coming to Spokane on June 30th, Hoopfest weekend, for those people who haven't heard about it.
Yeah, well, the event is benefiting all the kids in the greater Northwest area. It's about the A-plus youth program. And like I said before, those guys there, Tavio Hobson and his group, they're really focusing on trying to empower our young kids, giving them a chance. They don't just talk the talk, they walk the walks. They actually go to these kids' schools and homes and pick them up to bring them into the community center so they can get extra tutoring, work on their basketball game, do homework studies and things of that nature. And I think when you see the people that are aligned with this program, myself, Brandon Roy, Martell Webster, Pete Carroll was actually a keynote speaker at the A-plus breakfast, Steve Ballmer, all these guys, we get stuff thrown at us all the time, and for all of us to come together and all see the same common goal in what A-plus is trying to do, I think it's just terrific. And we're coming to Spokane June 30th, and them having the biggest hoop fest in the world, everybody's excited about it. Klay Thompson texted me the other day. He'll be playing the game at Spokane Arena on June 30th that night at 7:30, and he texted me like, I can't wait to go over there. Isaiah Thomas, J.R. Smith, John Wall, all these superstar players are very excited to come to Spokane. I'm excited that we're coming there as well, and I hope Spokane is just as excited to have us there.
Jamal, we know you're going to be the best player in the building. Who's the second best guy you think will be here?
There's some good ones out there. I think everybody's a little different. I think you got John Wall out there. You have Klay Thompson. Isaiah Thomas had a great rookie season in Sacramento. I think J.R. Smith was a key contributor for the Knicks in the playoffs. There's so many different guys. Spencer Hawes, Ronny Torioff, who's fighting for a finals championship now. So there's so many different guys that bring so many different things to the table. And we're just excited to get everybody in one building. And hopefully some of the guys can pop out there and see some of the guys and their families playing at the Hoop It Up. And, then everybody comes to Spokane Arena, that night on 7:30 on the 30th and come check us out.
We know there are going to be a lot of local guys in there. You mentioned a few names. Ronny Turioff should be rested because he's not getting to play much right now in the finals. So that's a nice
cold,
thing.
Right?
But it's true. And you had mentioned earlier there's going to be a lot of scoring, and then in the fourth quarter the defense will tighten up. I just wanted to point out that you're looking for somebody who can score a lot and doesn't worry too much about defense. Adam Morrison's been spotted around town here recently.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I can get you his number.
We may have to give him a uni. That guy can fire it up. That's for sure. He's a loser.
Hey, Jamal, I want to read you a text that says, guys, love the show. Jamal gives great information. It's great having his feedback on the show. So our listeners are appreciating you coming by, and hopefully they'll get out and buy some tickets to the A-Plus Classic at the Spokane Arena on June 30th. And we appreciate your time as always, and I'm sure we'll be visiting with you before you guys throw it up for the first time in next weekend.
I appreciate it as well, and they can go to ticketswest.com to get tickets. Bring your friends, your family, everybody. It's a fan-friendly event. And thank you guys. I told you guys, you have my number, so if you need me to co-host or pick my brain, I'm here.
All right, Jamal, thank you.
All right, thanks.